Coming up on the first Falcon Weekly of 2017, Russian relations. More backlash aimed at President Trump over comments he made about Vladimir Putin. Hear reaction from U.S. lawmakers.
And making history. See what program record Javonte Douglas just set for the men's basketball team.
Plus, calling all donut lovers, Krispy Kreme has a sweet deal out this month. Find out how you can score a free treat. Falcon Weekly starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Brianna Rose.
And I'm Hope Finley. Thanks so much for joining us.
President Trump is facing more criticism over his relationship with Russia.
This comes after an interview President Trump had this week with Fox News. Scott McLean has our story.
It's better to get along with Russia than not.
President Trump has long defended the idea of a better relationship with Russia. But in an interview that aired this weekend, he seemed to defend the actions of President Vladimir Putin.
He's a killer, though.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. You got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
That exchange with Fox News host Bill O'Reilly is drawing harsh criticism in Washington, even from Republicans.
Let's be clear. Has the U.S. ever made any mistakes? Of course. Is the U.S. at all like Putin's regime? Not at all.
Trump has made similar comments before, back in 2015 on MSNBC.
He kills journalists that don't agree with him.
Well, I think our country does plenty of killing also, Joe.
But this time, Trump is in office and responsible for Washington's complex relationship with Moscow. Trump spoke with Putin in late January, resolving to meet face-to-face and to work together to fight terrorism. But there are still big problems, like Russian military action in Ukraine.
We're watching and very troubled by the increased hostilities over the past week in eastern Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Russia is calling for an apology from Fox News, saying O'Reilly's words were, quote, unacceptable and offensive. As for Trump's statements, the Kremlin had no comment. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Meanwhile, today, President Trump had his first public meeting with military service members since taking office. He defended his Muslim ban as part of his tough stance on immigration. Over the weekend, a judge upheld a temporary restraining order halting the ban. Trump took to Twitter, blasting the judge's ruling.
Americans may have to wait until next year to see a new government health care plan. President Trump told Fox News that it could take until 2018 to roll out his proposal to replace Obamacare. But Trump also told Bill O'Reilly some elements of his plan could be in place this year. That's still a slower time frame for replacing the Affordable Care Act than Trump and other Republicans had promised. Trump also called Obamacare a disaster and said his plan would be, quote, wonderful. Meanwhile, the Senate is set to vote on President Trump's Secretary of Education nominee, Betsy DeVos, tomorrow. With two GOP senators already saying they'll vote to block her confirmation, political analysts say the Senate vote will be a 50-50 split. In that case, Vice President Mike Pence will cast a tiebreaker vote, and he has already said that he will vote in favor of DeVos's confirmation.
Switching to campus news, homecoming week is here and college night festivities are in full swing. If you still haven't bought a ticket for the performances, you'd better hurry.
Saturday night is already sold out, and there are only a few tickets left for Friday. However, there are still plenty of seats available for Wednesday and Thursday. You can purchase college night tickets online. We've placed the link in our Facebook page. Just search for Falcon Weekly.
Food Truck Thursdays are back. The Office of Partnerships and Outreach made the announcement today. 7 new food trucks have been added to the lineup with the return of favorites from last semester. Food Truck Thursdays will kick off this Thursday on Brook Quad from 11 a.m. through 1 p.m. Be sure to follow the University of Montevallo on social media to find out which food trucks will visit each week.
Montevallo basketball player Javonte Douglas just set a new record. Today, Douglas was named the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week for the third time this season. That set a new program record. Douglas also leads the Peach Belt in points and rebounds per game. Douglas and the rest of the men's basketball team will face another road game tonight. Tip-off from Young Harris is set for 6:30 Central.
Congratulations to Montevallo's own Dr. Scott Varagona. Dr. Varagona won the statewide 2017 MLK Classic Chess Tournament in January. He checkmated his way to 3 wins and 1 draw, beating his closest opponents by half a point. Dr. Varagona learned how to play chess when he was in the 4th grade, but didn't start playing competitively until high school. Dr. Varagona is an assistant professor of mathematics here at UM and also teaches in the Game Studies and Design minor.
Super Bowl 51 is a roller coaster of a game.
Records were broken in Houston and hearts were broken in Atlanta. Reed Binion reports on the Patriots' unbelievable comeback.
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
The New England Patriots becoming Super Bowl champions for the 5th time, beating the Atlanta Falcons 34-28. The roller coaster showdown was a game of firsts. Tom Brady becoming the first quarterback to win 5 Super Bowl titles.
We're bringing this sucker home! Tom Brady!
And the big game itself, the first ever to require overtime. The Patriots also securing the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. Atlanta's stunning loss coming after a strong first half and leading New England 28-3 midway through the 3rd quarter. The game's outcome leaving Patriots fans ecstatic.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
And Falcons fans dejected.
Hey, Atlanta. It's not a good night.
Brutal, man. It's brutal.
I'm sad. Really sad.
But the game was about much more than just the comebacks, tackles, and touchdowns. Halftime was a high-flying musical blowout featuring Lady Gaga. And the spectators were joined by VIP guests, including former President and First Lady George H.W. and Barbara Bush. Bush carrying out the official coin toss. And after the game, reaction from President Donald Trump. Trump writing on Twitter, "What an amazing comeback and win by the Patriots. Tom Brady, Bob Kraft, and Coach B are all total winners. Wow." I'm Reed Binion reporting.
After the Pats' historic victory, fans clamored to get their hands on souvenirs commemorating the win. And someone got away with an irreplaceable piece of memorabilia, Tom Brady's jersey that he wore during the big game.
The jersey, yeah, I put it in my bag and then I came out and it wasn't there anymore. So it's unfortunate because that's a nice piece of memorabilia. So if it shows up on eBay somewhere, someone let me know. Try to track that down.
Just an amazing game.
That happened to him.
I know, like that's awful. Like, why would somebody steal his jersey?
Right,
you know?
but I guess, you've got a Super Bowl ring,
yeah.
so.
Actually, he's got 5 rings.
Well,
so,
yeah.
I think he's got enough memorabilia, but at the same time, I would want my jersey. You know, I still have high school jerseys from when I played sports
Exactly.
in high school.
I still have cheerleading uniforms.
Exactly. So, I don't understand, but maybe it'll turn up.
Yeah.
Probably
on eBay.
To put it out there. I wonder if they'll get arrested for stealing it and stuff.
I would think so.
Probably. Who knows?
In other Super Bowl news, social media is still going gaga over Gaga. So what do you think about her performance? I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's one of those things that I love how she did all of her greatest hits. It wasn't like any of her new songs that nobody could sing along with. I found myself sitting on the couch singing along.
I know. I was having my own little mini concert.
I know. I was like, wait, I know this many Lady Gaga songs? Okay, cool.
I was a little concerned at the end with the mic drop and she just jumped off the screen. I'm like, where did she go?
But hey, the memes were great. The memes from the Super Bowl altogether were awesome. I love those. So.
And also the commercials.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but my favorite one and the funniest one was the Febreze commercial.
Oh, yes, for
with
sure.
The halftime bathroom break.
It was great. Now, I think the most sentimental one would have to be at the end with the Honda. Yeah. The families. That was great. But at the same time, I was like, wait, they can't bring their families to them, but how they did it was really awesome, and it just kind of shows really how great technology is to where they can share those moments with their family. So
I agree.
That's awesome. So, well, if the big game wasn't for you, the Animal Planet channel provided viewers with an alternative to the Super Bowl. After getting blown out in consecutive years, Team Fluff turned the tables in Sunday's Puppy Bowl 13 with a 93-38 victory over Team Ruff. Team Ruff was led by 17-week-old poodle mix Rory, who set the tone with 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and took home most valuable pup honors in a game that saw Fluff set a new scoring record. Despite being their namesake, the Puppy Bowl wasn't entirely about dogs. There were chinchilla and owl mascots, bunny and guinea pig cheerleaders, and even a bird named Meat handling social media. So, I love the puppy bowl.
It looks like I was watching the wrong bowl game.
I know.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. Like, how can you not just love cute little puppies, like, having fun? So
my dog would never participate.
No, the same. I have 2 old dogs, so, you know, they just probably sit there and look at you like, you expect me to do something?
Like they do now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, today marks Queen Elizabeth II's 65th year on the throne, the longest of any British monarch.
That tops our look at today's news to go. Her Sapphire Jubilee was marked with ceremonial gun salutes at London's Green Park and the Tower of London and in several other locations across the United Kingdom. According to a palace spokeswoman, the Queen had no public events planned for the anniversary. Instead, she spent the day at her country retreat in eastern England. At least 119 people have been killed and 67 are reported injured after 3 days of heavy snowfall caused a series of deadly avalanches along the Afghan-Pakistani border. The death toll is expected to rise as rescuers reach isolated regions where it's feared more people are trapped beneath the snow. Most of the casualties occurred in Afghanistan. Another snowstorm is expected to hit the border area again on Friday. This is the breathtaking sight for drivers headed to the Oregon coast, but a tricky snow-covered adventure for some. Cars found it hard to navigate through the latest winter storm Sunday. By nightfall, close to an inch had fallen in the downtown area, with even more in the higher elevations.
That wasn't a Super Bowl fireworks streaking across the Midwestern sky early this morning. A giant meteor could be seen from Kentucky to Kansas to Canada. This video is from a police dash cam in Illinois. According to the American Meteor Society, which tracks these events, some people even reported hearing it as it streaked by. Krispy Kreme has a sweet promotion going on.
The bakery is offering patrons a free donut with every coffee purchase. It's part of the company's relaunch of its coffee blends. The deal starts Monday, February 6th, and runs through the end of February. No coupon is required at the time of purchase. February may not be the best time for ice cream, but you have a reason to treat yourself with its healthier alternative. Monday is National Frozen Yogurt Day. The treat was developed in 1970 when it was called Frogurt, but its popularity took off in the 80s, partly because of its health food status. Not just a trend, sales are still growing for the tart treat.
Remember, there's more news online 24/7. Just search for Falcon Weekly on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see more stories and news updates throughout the week.
Before we go, you may have noticed that our anchor desk got an upgrade over the break.
We want to say a special thank you to our friends at WVTM 13, the NBC affiliate in Birmingham, for donating their old desk to us. We truly appreciate it.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more news from MassCom student reporters, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you next week.